welcome to this week's episode of Sports Esports Podcast. This is the LEC edition. I'm your host, William, and with me today, I only have Brock.
Yikes.
Brian's girlfriend's mom is in town, so he's not able to be here. But we weren't on yesterday for LMS because LMS and now LPL are on Chinese New Year. So they will not be playing this week at all. So we figured we'll be doing the LMS podcast on the day before they start up again. So the beginning of the podcast will be kind of outdated because it'll be almost 2 weeks old information about the game, but the predictions and stuff will be more fresh. So we decided to do that. Same with LPL. We won't have an LPL podcast this Sunday because they also won't play this week. So we'll do the analysis and stuff next Sunday. But getting into LEC, we had a pretty good week, I felt like, prediction-wise, and some shocking things, but let's get right into it. First game, pretty shocking. Vitality actually upsetting Fnatic, if you can call it an upset at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even... This started Fnatic at 0-3, and they didn't look very good in this game either, at all.
Well, I don't think either one of the teams looked that good. Like, there was lots of good plays, like from Attila. Like, Attila looked good, but this is another game where Jizuke didn't look that good again.
Yeah, because Nemesis actually solo killed Jizuke early when he was on Aurelia, Broxo was actually babysitting him quite a bit, which was good. But actually, Nemesis looks like the best player on Fnatic at the moment, which people are giving a lot of crap after the first game. But like after the first game, like those first game jitters, he's looked pretty good. On the rest of the team has sucked, especially Bwipo. I might point out that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree a lot. I do not think Nemesis is the weak link on Fnatic.
No, I
think the one thing Nemesis needs to do better, which he's actually very bad about it in all the games he's played so far, is his CSing is not good.
Oh, you can relate to that?
Yeah, I can. Obviously, his is a pro play level of play, so obviously he's better than me, but we play the exact same way. Like, we're getting kills, not that worried about CS.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say much after the game I just honestly played right before here. I had terrible CS because it was just constant team fighting, and it was like I couldn't ever get a chance to go. I don't know how pros do it. They always like team fight, but they always end up with so much CS at the end. I have no clue. I wish I knew. Like, I even watched. I think I saw that coming up this Saturday. I'll have watched 200 games already this year. At the 3 weeks, I think I'm at 187. I'm all caught up. I believe that's how many games in the major leagues or the major regions there's been so far. I'd have to redo the math. It's at work, so I can't really do it right here. But yeah, I don't understand how even after watching that many games, they just always have a ton of CS, even if they're constantly fighting. I wish I can learn that secret. That's my goal at the end of this. But anyway, let's talk about game number 2 between Splice and Rogue. Honestly, Rogue was playing okay besides for their bot lane, but it's not as impressive to me that they were playing okay this game because it was against Splice, but I gotta give Splice credit. They won again. They beat Rogue, but I just had the Splice Karthus jungle actually just weirdly enough let Splice end a game faster than normal. You know how like you always expect Karthus jungle to be like, oh, we just gotta wait. Let's just wait till our Karthus jungle scales up and then we got it. That was actually quicker. They waited for Karthus to scale up. That was actually quicker than a normal Splice game. And Xerxes was really good on the Karthus, like really, really good. Hint, we'll be bringing it up a little later.
You gotta appreciate any game that ends early with Karthus.
Yeah.
And it's not just a 50-minute farm fest.
Game number 3, G2 versus Excel. I just want to say that my first note in all capital letters is just with question marks all spamming through my note. For the first 20 minutes, Excel was winning this game. They were... Yep. G2 was playing insanely disrespectful to Excel. I thought it was more of a troll game for them, and I thought Excel capitalized on a lot of opportunities that should not have been there for them. The Perks did not look very strong on the Draven, which has been a worry for me that he can't play normal ADCs outside. He's played decent enough on Kai'Sa, but that was my worry coming into the season. He's kind of low, like it's been less important for me because he's like done well enough that it doesn't matter. But it's still in the back of my mind after watching that Draven game. He played very poorly on it, and
Yeah.
God, Caps literally was like 1v5 in this game. Just absolutely amazing on the Akali. It was just absolutely crushed that game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if you look at the game, like 20 minutes in, where Excel's like winning the game, the biggest issue that you see is even though like each lane has kills like over the lane opponents and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
all of their lanes are losing in CS. Like at 20 minutes, Draven's died twice, and Perks is still up 20 CS over Jessica.
Yeah. They knew how to CS very well compared to Excel, which is to be expected. It's the number one team
Yeah,
versus the number 10 team or number
yeah,
like 8 or 9 team, I believe.
the bottom of the pack
Yeah,
team.
bottom of the pack.
I guess the number one.
Yeah, exactly. Game number 4 was against Shulka versus SK. I think Shulka took care of business. I thought I was personally thinking for an SK upset here. SK's disappointed me quite a bit with this game, honestly. And let's see, what was my note? It was kind of SK just destroying everything on, or not, sorry, Shulka destroying everything on SK. It was just pure domination all the way through. Crown shot was really good. But it was the not crown shot. What was I gonna say? Shoot, I forgot. I totally forgot the Shulka ADC upset. Yeah, upset was amazing. Not crown shot. Upset was absolutely amazing, and I thought that he had a fantastic week altogether, and Shulka just took care of business against SK, which I was really hoping for the upset, but it didn't happen. Uh,
Can't get it.
hmm?
I said you can't get it.
No, can't get them all right. Funny enough, I'll actually, Brock, you want to know something funny?
Well,
After the first 2 weeks, you and me are exactly tied over all the regions combined.
hey, no.
We both have 59% pick records if you combine all of our regions, so that's not bad for how bad our Korea picks have been.
Yeah, we're actually really good at.
We're really good at LPL. Uh, Game number 6 of the week. Or no, sorry, I skipped one. Game number 5 was Misfits versus Origin. Misfits absolutely obliterated Origin in this game, and Mithy, oh man, Mithy irritates me. I feel like Origin can be so much better, but Mithy just keeps. I've brought it up multiple times. I feel like I'm just ragging on him and constantly hating on him, but I feel like he is by far the weak link of this team, and he just gets caught out all the time placing vision. I don't know how. There needs to be some type of communication or even a buddy system at this point where he can't go place a bunch of deep vision by himself because for some reason, or there just needs to be better communication because for some reason no one's calling missing or he's not listening to the missing call or something and he's getting caught out every single game, 1 to 3 times a game.
Yeah, well, and even that, a lot of the times, whenever your support goes and puts in deep vision, you usually do that with your jungler.
Yeah,
Because as a support, if you run into the jungler, you're just giving away a free kill. That's why you want to do it with your jungler. So you're warding the bot half of their jungler. Jungler goes up and wards the top half of it.
yeah,
And he's just solo missioning everything, just dying.
yeah. It's every game it's happened so far, that to my knowledge, and
Yeah.
it's. I think Origin can be so much better. It's been very frustrating for me to watch. They're 1-3, and I think they could be so much better than what they are. Game number 6, we had Schalke 04 defeat Fnatic. So yet another team defeats Fnatic, and they start the season 0-4. I don't think it's very bold. I don't think Fnatic's making playoffs this year. I really don't think they're going to make playoffs. 0-4 start is terrible.
Yeah, it's not good. Like the only thing, even in this game, the only thing you can take out of this is the fact that possibly Nemesis should think about leaving his contract and going to. Like it's obvious that Nemesis is clearly the best player on this team, and he's the rookie.
Yeah, and all the other 4 are world's finalists, like not I was going to say champions, but you didn't really win. But they're world's finalists. They went to world's finals last year, all four of them. And Bwipo hasn't had a positive KDA since he beat C9, and like in one game, not even one game, he's had a positive KDA, and he's been obliterated up top, losing every single matchup to every single person constantly. And Reckless also is just this is not his meta. He has a very thin or shallow champion pool, and none of those champions are currently in the meta. The only one they can get away with right now is Sivir, and even then, Sivir is outbeaten by the Lucian and the Dravens and the Ezreals and everything that's even the Kallistas. All this early game stuff really hurts on Sivir, and it's just
Yeah.
not working. Like nothing is working for Fnatic.
I mean, Reckless died 3 times before 10 minutes on Ziver.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh yeah. Sorry. This was the game that
yeah,
they died. They died what 7 times before the 15-minute mark on bot lane.
yeah, I think so.
That's not acceptable. No way. That was absolutely GG. Better bot wins. Like, in all chat.
Like
Report ADC for feeding.
yeah, literally everything that could have went wrong in the game. Not only was bot lane just getting decimated early, but somehow their tower is gone and Rift Herald is bot lane. 13 minutes.
Yeah, didn't they take the second tower, I believe, by like 15 minutes or something like that? It was like if they didn't take it, they got it really low, and it was just insane. And on Sivir, that really sucks because you're not even gonna have enough time to even get remotely relevant.
It was just a terrible, terrible game.
Yeah. Game number 7, SK Gaming beat Excel, which I was very impressed about. Well, to the extent because Excel had proved so much to me by beating not beating G2, sorry, keeping it competitive with G2, which no other team had been able to show that they can do that yet. But sadly, they came into this game against SK and they lost. But SK did show that they can beat a team, and they hadn't won a game since their victory over Fnatic. So I was starting to believe that the hype on SK was dead because that originally when they beat Fnatic, that was the first loss of the season. So that was like a huge upset and everyone saw everything. But at the end of the day, Fnatic hasn't won a game yet, and that win against Fnatic looks less and less impressive for SK as I originally thought it was. And so their only wins being against Excel and Fnatic are still, I feel like SK is the record, they could easily be a 1-3 team. Like I think Origin possibly is a better team than SK, even though SK has won more games. I don't have it in my power rankings because Origin is Mithy has annoyed me so much that I've had to drop them a lot. But the next game was G2 versus Rogue. This one was quite a blowout. I thought Rogue handled it well enough, but just Perks and Caps and Broxa or not Broxa, sorry. Wonder, I don't know why I call him Broxa, but in Jankos, they just all dominated. It was clean sweep.
Did you just call him Jankos?
So what I say? Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's a Yanko.
Yankos. Sorry, American.
Yeah. I was like,
they just dominated this game against Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they really.
But I mean, what do you expect? It's the 1 seed versus the 10 seed. It's not the team that's never won to the team that hasn't lost yet. It's not unexpected. Next game was Origin versus Splice. Oh my God, Origin, what are you doing? They lose to Splice, who I think was the biggest pretenders of the 2-1 teams out of all of them. And now Splice is 3-1, and now they're tied for second place. like I don't think this Splice will stay up here. I think there are more benefits of having a weaker schedule at the moment. And once they face teams like Vitality, no, they already faced Vitality. They lost to Vitality, but barely. They barely lost to Vitality, but I think they'll get beat pretty bad to Misfits in G2 and SO4. And I really. Not to hate on Splice that much, I just don't think it's the correct meta for them. Even though they're 3-1, they have been proving me wrong this whole time. Granted, I did pick them to win one of the games, two of the games. I picked them to win. So I've actually picked them pretty well. If I'm seeing this right.
Their week 3 is not gonna be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're playing against Schalke and G2, so their week 3 is not gonna be good.
Yeah. This is gonna be pretty ugly. I think this is the week that they come back down to reality. I think they've been flying high. They can go out and prove me wrong here, though. That'd be big for them. But I don't see the talent level on this team being able to compete with Schalke and G2 at all. I don't see it even in the same ballpark. Finally, we had Misfits versus Vitality. Vitality actually crushed Misfits in this game, though my only doubt, we can transition a little bit, just a brief tidbit before the power rankings. My only doubt is this game, to me personally, it was a blowout, but it felt lucky in the sense that before 20 minutes, 4 Vitality members survived Karthus ult by under 100 HP before 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That is very lucky. And if you just add 4 Karthus kills to him and that amount of money into his build and shutdown gold and stuff, like Karthus becomes a much bigger factor into this game. And I feel like, honestly, even though Vitality crushed them, in a best of 5, Misfits would win 3-1. And
absolutely,
that is why, even in my power ranking, even though Vitality beat them, I have Misfits ahead of them. I obviously put G2 ahead of them because G2 absolutely deserves first place right now. But I still have Misfits above Vitality, even though they both are 3-1. I think Misfits is the better team if it were to go to a best of 5. It's tougher in best of 1s to predict because anything can happen in best of 1. The only difference is like when Golden Guardians eventually beats the Liquid like they always do. Am I gonna put Golden Guardians as a better team than Liquid? No, it's just anything can happen in a best of 1. So that's what I think kind of happened here. I think if you run it back, play another game, I think Misfits wins it outright.
Yeah, this is why I'm convinced that Vitality's coach watches our podcast, because I've been saying it. You have to put Jizuke back on this. Like the Urgots and the Gallios and all that. Like he can do his best not to die, but like you put him on assassins like the LeBlanc pick, he's 1v5.
So you're
like he's so strong on assassin.
You're telling me Yamato Cannon is our one viewer right now?
I think he is. I'm convinced. He's not going to say it because he's getting stats, so he's not going to do the Bill Belichick.
Got it. Yeah.
But I'm convinced.
That'd be awesome. I actually really like his coaching style. I love this meta I love the team fights. I'm just a big team fighter. I'm not a big, but the laning phases hurt me personally. The early laning phase gold advantage. But moving on. Let's move on to players of the game. Or players of the I always say players of the game, but it's players of the week. First off, we had the top laner. I had G2 Wonder this week. I almost said this year. Jeez, I'm messing the whole thing up. KDA was 5.3. His damage percentage was 26.7. And his DPM was a solid 704 or 701. And not only that, let's bring back that number there, okay? 701 DPM. You're like, okay, he's on Camille. He's on, I don't know, who's a top laner that's insane amount of damage. I can't even think of one. I'm drawing blank. Brock, help me out.
Oh, what?
A top laner does Lucian. Yeah, okay, yeah. Something like that. It's something crazy. He played Sejuani top and Karma top this week. And he did 701 damage per minute. The Karma was insane. He was using empowered Qs and half ulting the ADC on the other teams. But, oh my god. That was his best game, by the way. 2-1 and 9 on Karma. I thought it was a great game. And that was against Rogue, I believe. Was Karma against Rogue? I think so. Moving on, his jungle game against Splice, or Jungle Splice, Xerxes had a KDA of 28, and we talked about this earlier in Game 2 against Rogue. He had an average DPM of 605 minutes. That's for the whole week. 605 damage per minute. Damage percentage of 27. His CSD at 15, which I thought was very interesting, in the game against Rogue on Karthus, was plus 44. That's a lot. Like, that is insane. He was also finished that game 11-1 and 7. That's honestly ridiculous. And I thought he played excellently, and weirdly enough, feeding the Karthus ended up Splice ending a game quicker than their normal time. Mid lane, shout out to Yamamoto Cannon and Vitality Jizuke at a KDA of 6.0, average DPM of 692, damage percentage of 30% of the entire team's damage this week. His CSD at 15 in his LeBlanc game against Misfits was plus 42, nearly as good as the Karthus one, and Karthus is power juggling. This is a LeBlanc. Early game LeBlanc too, so she can't wave clear as well. And the best game she had, obviously, was that LeBlanc game where she went 6-0-5 against Misfits. It was a very good game for him. ADC of the week was Schalke 04's Upset. He had a KDA of 35. That's really solid. Rookie numbers for LCK, though. CSM was 11.5. That is very impressive to have such a high KDA with his CSM that high. His damage was 31.2%. Average DPM was 725. And the best game, we talked about it earlier, was his 10-1-9 against Fnatic on Kai'Sa. And he had 8 kills and 3 items by 18 minutes. If I had 3 items on Kai'Sa by 18 minutes, you're not, or not just me, anyone has 3 items by 18 minutes on Kai'Sa by, you're just not winning that game. You're just
No.
like, even I'm like, okay, I never surrender anything. I'm like, okay, maybe we should surrender this one.
There was a game we played where we were bot lane, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and
and I
we
had
got
the,
out of laning phase while you were on Kai'Sa with
yeah,
like
I had like 9 kills. Yeah, I've had games like that with Kai'Sa, and I had a game yesterday that I won. Sivir Tom Kench, I finished that laning phase 4-1 against a Draven Blitzcrank. I don't. That was on my Smurf, so that was a silver elo for you, right there. We won at level 1. Sivir and Tom Kench won at level 1 against Draven. I don't know how that happened. we got out of it. It was a tilting game for them. We survived like Vitality against Misfits with under 100 HP multiple times. The Draven was quite triggered about it. I did add that Tom Kench, so I wanted to play with them, but they didn't answer me today. Anyway, the support of the week was Misfits, Ignar. He still had an 11.7 KDA, even though he had a terrible game against Vitality. His vision score per minute was 3.0, and he had a 1-1-19 game on Thresh against Fnatic. I think that game against Fnatic buffed his stats so much that even losing to Vitality that bad, his stats were still better than almost any support this week, which is pretty impressive for being 1-1 in a blowout in one of the games as well. So moving on, let's talk about our play of the week, Brock.
Yeah, I believe. Let me pull it back up too.
Yeah, let me get it here.
And this wasn't necessarily like how usually plays of the weeks they're like these crazy kills or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is just Caps literally being Caps, wasting everything all the time, all the ults, and he gets away clean.
Yeah, I do remember this play. All right, are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
The first time for you to decide, but we need to see whether or not it will be enough to come back against Exile Esports, who are ganging up on Caps. The most recent import. Caps will be taken down in just a matter of time. Starts to get chased. The flash comes out. Caps running for his life. He dashes over the wall. Caps, I'm so sorry to you.
Whenever Caps does things, it's like people aren't playing the same game he is.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Like, I don't know if League players, like people who are going to watch our podcast, know anything about other games, but there's another streamer called Shroud. And when you watch Shroud play shooters, it's literally like watching Caps. Like, they're clearly better than everyone else.
Yeah, there's no way he should be getting out of this scenario alive. You have a Scion on you, you have a Nocturne on you, you're feared, you have everything, you have a Rakan on you for the CC, you have CC everywhere here, plus damage, there's no possible way to get out. And he somehow does it. It's like...
And not only that, it literally started off with a Scion and a Nocturne ult at the exact same time.
Yeah, so you
and
can't see
he still managed to, without vision, gets away from everything and still manages to just barely dodge. So he got Scion ult, he got Rakan ult, he got Nocturne ult. He didn't die all while his team is pushing.
Yeah, it was quicker. They were able to convert that mid lane tower, I believe. or they were able to convert it relatively. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh well, I lied. They got the mid lane tower hurt a bit for their next push. Let's say
Just
that.
just in case that wasn't impressive enough, the Nocturne was also 5-0 at that point.
Yeah, so it wasn't like they were underfed there by any means.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is our play of the week. Let's move on to our power rankings of the week. We all have G2. I also got submitted. Yeah, Brian also submitted his power rankings to me, so he will. I don't know if he submitted his picks though. Let me see. Actually, he didn't. Okay, so we have G2 at number 1. I think it's well deserved because they're undefeated. Misfits lost. You could even argue they were better than Misfits originally, but like I personally thought Misfits was better, but now you can't argue that, and now it's going to be tough to take this crown away from G2 unless Misfits beats G2 in the upcoming weeks. Misfits versus Vitality. Or no, sorry. It's not a game pick. I was just talking to Brian about games real quick because he's like, "Oh no, I forgot to do them," and I was like, "No, we're on live right now, so hurry up." But Misfits, we have number 2. Like we went over earlier. I think Misfits, even though they lost to Vitality this week, at the end of the day would beat Vitality in a best of 3, best of 5 scenario. Even though, not to say Vitality's bad. I think Vitality's the 3rd best team currently in LEC, but Brian also has Vitality number 2, and I can totally understand that position as well. And I think that Misfits have shown enough on their other games that I'm okay with keeping them at 2. I would like to see how they fare against G2. If they beat G2, then obviously I think they're back up to number 1. If they lose a close match to G2, I almost want to keep them at 2. But if they get blown out by G2, that's the warning for me that they might not be as good as them. Like not be near the top as like I think they are.
Yeah. Mine's the same. Even though Misfits lost to Vitality, like I don't want to say it's a fluke because obviously that's like super disrespectful to Vitality because they played like the perfect game.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. They're not going to play the perfect game in a best of 5. They're going to have that game, and that's going to be, in my opinion.
That's fair. I think the same way, honestly. We both have SO4 at number 4. Which Brian has number 3, so that's fair. That's very close. We all have Splice number 5, so we all think even though they're 3-1, tied for 2nd place, we all still consider them a middle of the back team. Which I mean, they can definitely prove us wrong this week with their schedule. Like almost how Damwon we had, how they needed to prove themselves with their brutal back-to-back-to-back schedule of Griffin, SKT, and Sandbox. Like now, it's Splice's turn going up against G2 and SO4.
Yeah.
You have Fnatic number 6, Brock. You have them higher. Me and Brian have them as number 9. They haven't won a game yet, and they haven't looked very good in any of their games either. Why do you think they are still better than SK, Excel, Origin, and Rogue? I can understand the Rogue.
Honestly, for me, it's so crazy because all the regions literally suffer from the same issue, where there's like the teams to beat, and then like there's the other. And so for me, at first, like it was actually a mistake. I meant for SK to be above Fnatic, but I don't mind Fnatic being there.
Okay.
Because, like I think SK is a good team, and obviously Fnatic not Fnatic right now. So at some point, they're going to change something. They have to change something. But I think they need to realize that Nemesis, if they're going to actually go somewhere, it's going to be through Nemesis. You're not going anywhere through bot lane.
Yeah.
Like, Reckless needs...
Meta.
Yeah, like, Reckless is such a good player that even he knew last season it wasn't his meta. And he actually, like, took a step back, let somebody else come in, because they were just better than him. And what that was. And I think they need to realize... Yeah. And I think they need to realize that it's an issue again. Like, their bot lane isn't... This isn't for them right now. I'm not saying Reckless needs to go, but I think Hillisang is not hasn't been the greatest support. Whippo has definitely not been a top lane.
I think he's
And
one of
Broxah
the
hasn't
bottom
been good
three.
in the yeah, and Broxah really hasn't been that good in the jungle either.
No, I think.
But I do think Nemesis can carry them through the bottom echelon of team. Like I don't think they're going to go anywhere near
The
the
others.
top of the line, like the G2s, the Shulkers, the Misfits, even the Vitalities. Obviously, they just lost to them. But I do think they can get through the Rogues, Origin, and XLs and all that through Nemesis because
Okay.
he showed in the what game was it the Shulka game on Cassiopeia?
I
I,
believe that was against Vitality. I don't have the match history up, but
one of the games, but he was like there was a point where he was like 5-0 or something like that
hmm
against one of the teams. And like he can carry, he can for sure do it, but they're still sending their resources bot lane,
yep.
and you can't do that. So for me, originally I had SK above Fnatic, but I'm fine where it is. But I think that's how they.
I personally have Fnatic at number 9. They, like I've said, they haven't shown. Like you said, Reckless has not played well. He's played just flat out terrible, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
since
yeah,
this season,
it's awful.
and Bwippo's played terrible, and they can't do what they did last year, where they would switch Bwippo up to bot lane and he'd play the mages for them because Soaz isn't on the team anymore. They don't have an extra top
Yeah,
laner anymore, so Bwippo
yep.
has to stay up top. Reckless has to stay in ADC, unless I'm sure Europe has some type of academy style. I don't really know. I know they have like a Spanish league, but I don't know exactly how it's broken out, to be honest. But you're not going to replace Reckless with an Academy ADC anyway. But
No,
the only sliver of hope I have for Fnatic is that I believe it's 9.3 or 9.4. I don't remember exactly, but their crit items are getting buffed. Crit ADCs are getting buffed, and they are that is going to significantly help Fnatic. But if let's say they beat Rogue this week and they lose their next game, then they lose their next 2 games next week because they still haven't played G2 yet, and they played Misfits, but they have not played. Have they played Misfits?
who?
Fnatic? I don't think they have actually.
No, tell you this.
No, because they played SO4
Yeah,
this week in Vitality.
yeah,
Yeah, they haven't played They're 0-4 without playing Misfits or G2 yet. I think they lose
yeah,
that game even if they're doing well. I've had Fnatic number 3 originally coming into this, and I think they lose that game with my initial expectations. None of my expectations are plummeted. I think they obviously lose now as well, but if they're gonna play those 2 games and they're gonna, in my eyes, they're gonna lose those 2 games, they could be easily 1-7, 2-6 by the end of week 4, or I believe they play them both next week, but I'm not on top. I'm not sure of that. But either way,
yeah,
by like week 4 or 5, they can have like only 1 to 3 wins by the 5th week. That's too late. Your season's over. It's only 9 weeks, even though I have 10 here because I still haven't deleted that from China. But there's a lot of copy paste. But you only have 10 weeks, and if the first 5 weeks you only win 1 to 2 games, I know C9 did it. I know they did the miracle run last year where they won like every game in the second half. But Fnatic, I don't see them doing that. I just don't. I just don't see it at all, frankly. And sadly, that's just gonna be because the only reason C9 did it is because they found a certain cheese to win quite a few games that it turned out to be the meta, the original meta with the Zillion into the Nocturne, and that was unconventional, the Zillion mid and the Nocturne and the Zillion into the Kindred, and the way Blabber played the different style of jungle he played, and that was what turned it around for C9. I don't see Fnatic being able to turn around their playstyle so much like that. They still are kind of playing on the original playstyle until Bwippo pops off, and I don't see that happening.
yeah. I don't.
We all have Rogue number 10 and Origin Excel. I think I moved up Excel because they did so well against G2. Origin I dropped down because of Mithy. Pretty much, I still have high hopes for this team, but I think it's my NA bias coming in that Mithy played so bad in NA, and I'm seeing him here, and I'm like, see, I told you he was the problem. But
You're not wrong.
let's move on to our predictions though. for week 3. The first game, we have G2 in SK. Pretty standard, I think, this game. SK has disappointed me. Like I said, I don't think their win against Fnatic was as big of a win as I thought it was. And I think they're kind of a meddling team. I have them number 6 right now because they are 2-2. But I can easily see this team dropping down to my 7th or 8th team like I originally had at the beginning of the year. I have G2 winning this game.
Oh, yeah. Crush game.
And Brian also has G2 winning this game as well. I should probably pull up Brian's predictions while I'm at this. Okay, next game we have Shulk over Splice. We talked about it earlier. I think Splice is 3-1. Congratulations. I think they're a pretender. I'm sorry. I really think they're a pretender at that 3-1. I don't think they've played against the strong enough teams, and I think this is their dose of reality. In SO4 with Upset, it's going to dominate that bot lane, and I don't think the bot lane is very strong by Splice. So sadly, SO4 takes this game, and Splice gets hit down to 3-2. And spoiler, I'm thinking they're going 3-3 after the end of this week.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've got Shulk win.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Like Splice really just they played against one impressive team, which was Vitality.
Yes, and that was their one loss.
Yeah. So.
But they did play well in that game. To give them credit, they did play well in that game. Next game is Fnatic versus Rogue. Rogue, sadly, I think you're going to be Fnatic's first win of the year. I don't have any faith in Rogue. It's kind of like Jin Air and LCK, where they haven't shown anything to me to give me any sort of faith. Not that Fnatic has shown me anything to give them any sort of faith. I'm banking on history at this point. Like, the organization of Fnatic, there's no way they're going to lose to Rogue. If they lose to Rogue, I don't even want to talk about Fnatic for the rest of the year. They can be just out of this picture. To leave. Gone. You're not playing LCK or LEC anymore.
Relegated time.
Relegated, exactly. They don't do relegations anymore. Brock, it's a franchise now.
Time to start.
Time to start it back up.
Bring it back. Yeah, this game for me, this game does nothing for Fnatic.
Yeah,
like even with a win, it still doesn't do anything.
Nope.
But they need something. Like you have to start somewhere.
Exactly.
So I think they're gonna get this one. But if Rogue gets this one, it's like their next game is against Vitality. They're going to need this win going into that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get it, but against Vitality, you've got to come in.
Yeah. So
I think Fnatic is going to take this.
Yeah, I agree. Game number 4, and Brian also had Fnatic, by the way. So we've all been the same for the first 3 games. Game number 4 is Misfits over Excel. Did you have something to say real quick?
No, I was going to say I think we're going to all for this.
Yeah. Even though Excel did prove themselves really well against G2 and Misfits faltered against Vitality, I do expect Misfits to be able to pick it back up, and they have looked, outside of that Vitality game, they have looked excellent in all of their games. They dominated SO4. They dominated all their other opponents that they've faced, all 3 of their 4 opponents. I think the Vitality game was more of a hiccup in the sense of like Team Liquid losing the Golden Guardians, but a much better team that obviously for Vitality. But I see it as them starting to bring back their dominance, starting against Excel.
Yep, I completely agree with you.
And so does Brian. I messed up that capital F every time. Moving on, we have number 5. We have Origin against Vitality. I have an upset here. I want to believe in Origin. I'm gonna ride and die on this hype train apparently because of Mithy. Mithy's he's the conductor and he's crashing this hype train. I think Origin pulls a sneaky upset against Vitality after Vitality's coming in hot from last week against the Misfits. I think that Origin can play strong enough in their mid lane, in their top lane, in jungle that they can handle Jizuke and the likes of them on Vitality. That they are going to be able to, even with, I'm just expecting, Mithy used to be such a good player, okay? I'm expecting in the video, in the VOD review, that the coaches are telling him, stop getting caught out. You look at when you go, and you are getting caught out by the jungler every single time you go in ward. Make sure that our jungler is nearby, so if you do get caught out, the jungler can come over and help you out. Or if in any case, like you said, make sure they're placing deep vision so you can at least spot the enemy jungler before you leave. And then if you see the enemy jungler top lane, then you can go leave and put the deep vision in bot lane because you know you're going to be safe. And this has to be something that they can talk about in review. Like, it's very fixable things for a professional player to be having this happen constantly. And with that, I think this is the week they finally do that, and they're gonna pull an upset off. If not, I won't be like surprised. But I felt like this is the game that you can see a surprising result.
I think if there's a game where Mithy could look decent on, it's going to be against Jack Troll. Because I also don't think Jack Troll is, the best support player.
Exactly.
I do have Vitality winning this one, but yeah, I feel like there's going to be an upset this week, and it could be on Vitality. But yeah, I'm thinking my upset, I think, is going to be Rogue Vitality.
That's bold.
It's very bold. I feel there's an upset this week, so I'm trying to guess it right.
There's always an upset.
Big win.
There's always an upset. That's what we've come to know, especially in LCK right now. You can always expect an upset to happen, and it's just about predicting the right ones. I always try to do percentages. Like, I'm like, okay, if Origin has like a 40% chance to win here, how much does Rogue have against Vitality? Like 2%. I'm gonna go 40%. Brock's going big. He's going risk all nothing. But that's how I kind of process it. It's not that I think Origin is gonna outright win or easily beat Vitality and like, oh, this is something like that. It's more of, I think Origin has the best chance to win, and there's always an upset, so I always try to pick the best chance upset kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's all about percentages. Game number 6, we have G2 over Splice. Sorry, Splice, the way you play the game is going to be obliterated against this G2 team. You will not have time to scale up. There is no way this G2 team is going to smash all over you very quickly. I think G2 is going to win this game in 25 minutes because Splice does not have an early game, and G2 is going to punish it hard enough and snowball out of control for this game. Yeah,
absolutely. I think if Splice's game plan needs to start in Champs. Like, you need to ban Akali, you need to ban Aurelia, and you need to ban something else on Caps and force him on the Urgot. Because you don't want him on Akali. You don't want him on Aurelia. And you don't want him on anything. You want to hope for more bans.
Well, Aurelia is nerfed hard now in 9.2. She got nerfed pretty hard.
Are they playing on 9.2? Because they're always a patch behind.
They are playing on 9.2 right now.
Oh, is it 9.2?
Yes.
Well, then you're not going to see Galio either.
Galio is still played a little bit, according to Korea. At least a few games against Korea. And he still works out pretty well. But he is much weaker. He is much weaker.
Yeah.
Aurelia is also very weak. She does not disarm anyone anymore with her ult. Her ult does more damage, like the procs or something like that. I didn't read fully into it, but it does not disarm anymore. So it's weaker against AD champs. And
I think the disarm only went after you walked through it.
Yes.
So I don't really think that was a huge deal.
In team fights, it was pretty big. If she can land a 3-man ult and just hit the people around the person she was trying to hit, I think it was pretty strong. And especially if like an ADC is trying to escape, like a Lucian or something like that, they can't get out of that without disarming themselves and not being able to do any damage, because Lucian is still very relevant in the meta. Same with Ezreal.
But if there's one person to make it still broken.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't necessarily... Like, I think even though it's nerfed, I think Aurelia is such a comfort pick for Caps that you still want to try and get that away. Which I could be wrong, and it could just be garbage. And, just not good at all.
Rakan is garbage now.
Yeah, that's good.
Rakan is... Old man Rakan, man. You know those athletes that you can see lose a step? because
Yeah,
they're like
Mike.
30 some. Yeah. Rakan, he's lost a step. He's an old man now. He had a few birthdays apparently, and he's not as quick anymore. Very slow. It's shocking. You can tell if you see any Rakans this week. You probably won't. I did see one in if you watch LCK, there was one Rakan, I believe. But man, that's a slow moving engage. It's very slow now. The quickness is not quick. Moving on to game number 7, we have Schalke 04 over Excel. Sorry, I just spoiled my pick. But Schalke 04 versus Excel. I have Schalke 04 winning this. Excel is proving to be much better than what I originally thought they were. I thought they were the 10th place team at the beginning of the year. I think they're actually better than that. I think they're better than Rogue. And honestly, at the moment, I think they're better than Origin. But I think Origin has more upside. That being said, I think they're pretty tied with SK personally. And at the moment, they're better than Fnatic because everyone's better than Fnatic except for Rogue. And if Rogue beats Fnatic, then every single team is better than Fnatic, almost out of all 5 major regions.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing a 54-team power ranking today. I'm like, I don't have the time for that. But Fnatic, interestingly enough, there's only 7 teams that haven't won a game yet this year, and 3 of those are NA teams, but that doesn't really count because they've only played 1 week. And the others have played 2 or 3 weeks, and the other is Jin Rogue, and Fnatic. All the LMS teams have won, and LGD on what's they're called in China. They haven't won either. But those are not good teams. None of those are good teams except for like history wise. Obviously LGD had a good like years ago, but Fnatic is the only one that would be shocking in that. I would say LGD's been bad for years. Jin was expected to be bad. Rogue was expected to be bad. All these teams were expected to be bad, and Fnatic is right there with them. So if they lose to one of those, it's even worse. I'd put them honestly as one of the bottom 40 teams in all of major regions at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But not talking about Fnatic, we're talking about Excel and Shulk, and I have Schalke 04.
Yep, I've also got Shulk.
I believe Brian also has Schalke 04. He does. He went pretty blind this week, he said, because he had to pick him quick. Origin versus SK. I think Origin, like I was telling you before, I think they're going to fix their problem. I think their problems result, they have the talent, they have the mechanics. I think their problems result that can be fixed in VOD review. And I'm really hoping at the 2 weeks of VOD review, they can get their act together and hopefully, not hopefully. I think the win against SK should be seen as a victory that they can achieve. Like I said before, I think SK is a little bit weaker than originally thought. And I think Origin, if they're going to prove themselves, not only do I have them beating Vitality, that would be they can prove that they can hang out with the big boys. If they can beat SK, I believe they can get right back into the middle of the pack at least. If they can't, then we're looking at a lost season already for them. And maybe they need to be shopping for new support.
Yeah, for me, I've got SK winning because I think Self-Made, Period, and Crown Shot better than Cold, Nuke Duck, and Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my reason for SK, but this is honestly a game where could away for.
So you think Period's better than Nuke Duck?
I do. I like Period over Duck.
I do like Period myself, but I think Nuke Duck is slightly better. Personally, I think so. I'm not going to argue too much about it.
This is why we do this podcast. We all have opinions, man.
I know exactly.
This is why people listen.
I'm not going to bring up too much argument about it because I can see both sides on this side one. But Brian also has Origin in this game.
Ooh.
So that's a game you're on your own. That could be a big win though. Mm-hmm. I currently have the lead, and speaking of that, just an real quick tangent. I checked so hard for the LEC last week, and they didn't show anyone's final prediction or their original predictions or their final predictions for the end of day 2 for during the whole broadcast, unless I missed it, but I combed through it as well as I could. And because I didn't get to see pregame and stuff because I was busy sleeping. It was my first Saturday off in 3 weeks. It was the only Saturday I get off, and I have to work next Saturday. But I was expecting that, so sadly, I don't know exactly how their day 2 picks went. But for just us 3 personally, I am in the lead because I went 7-3 last week, and you guys went solid 6-4 again.
Hey. All about the 6-4 life, man. I'm telling you.
6-4 and 4-6. All the you've held it for a full year and an extra week now in NALCS, and now you're holding it in the LEC as well. You're not so much in Korea. You went 5-5 one time, and LMS and LPL have different amount of games, so it doesn't count.
Yeah. Just,
Moving on, game number 9 is Vitality over Rogue. Again, I keep screwing it up. Because I keep looking at the schedule, but I'm just looking at my predictions. I'm not looking at the actual schedule, so I just have it over blank. So Vitality versus Rogue, but that should come as no surprise that I'm picking Vitality, unlike Brock, who believes that Rogue. Talk about your upset. Just mine's boring. Talk about yours.
honestly, there's really not much to talk about my upset because this is a game where Vitality should add in.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those. I just feel like there's going to be an upset,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I don't know. For me, I think Jizuke is going to get camped very.
Okay.
But even if he gets camped, I don't think putting all your resources into Sandcooks is the best idea. But I feel like in my me playing this game in my head, I feel just see Vitality being up like throughout the whole game, and then just a crazy team fight that lose, and that loses the game, and it's more than likely going to happen in Baron.
Okay, so you think Vitality is going to go back, revert to old Vitality, where they take a bad team fight just because it's a team fight and they love the fight, and it's going to be caught. They're going to be caught out from it, and then Rogue is going to move on and win their first game. Very bold of you, very bold. But if it works out, you can brag all you want.
Imagine if that happens. Imagine if it happens exactly like I called.
Exactly. We can replay the clip. I'll bring up the clip if it happens exactly like that. You can just live in that glory, because I guarantee all the other analysts are not going to pick that either, unless they're feeling bold themselves. And finally, game number 10, last game of the week, we had Misfits against Fnatic. And like I said before, I think Fnatic is better than Rogue. I absolutely do not think they're better than Misfits, and I think Misfits are going to destroy Fnatic, and sadly Fnatic is going to be 1-5 after 3 weeks. That's getting very dangerous territory for making playoffs.
Yeah, I've got Fnatic winning against Rogue, but
I thought you were going to say against Misfits. I'm like, Brock,
no.
Stop it.
You're crazy. I'm actually very excited to see the Nemesis versus Forbidden lane. I think that's going to be fun to watch. Unless, they put him on something Urgot, then that won't be fun to watch. But,
hey, Urgot got nerfed as well, but not as bad.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think it's going to be I think it'll be a fun game for a little bit, and then I think it's just going to be run over him.
And Brian also had Misfits as well. Every time, Brian's last pick is always bolded. I have no idea what it's... There's something in the spreadsheet that likes to do that, but I've tried to fix it, and it doesn't work. So, then we'll just keep it. It'll be a tradition.
Yeah, it'll be tradition.
So that is it for the predictions. And that should be all. I just wanted to say quickly is that I'm assuming you know Brock, but I know for sure yesterday Jat announced on the dive that he's leaving the LCS. And that sucked. I was a big fan of Jat, but he is moving on to game design, so he's still working with Riot. But I just thought, I didn't know if you know. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, Jat announced that he is stepping down from his esports role and moving to the game design role, and he's going to be on the balance team. And that has always been a passion of his, so it's a good job for him. But I was just kind of sad because, that's his choice, obviously, and it's what he wants to do. But me personally, as a fan, was kind of sad because I'm like, I really always liked Jet's stats and his analytics to the game. I thought he was always really smart and how he was able to articulate what he's trying to say and how to explain esports to people that may not know what esports are. So I'll miss that part of it, but that's just want to say that real quick. We can talk about that more on the LCS podcast as well.
Well, I will say one thing about it, just because it actually affects all of the regions, is the fact that you have someone that we now know 100%. We know now someone that is very and like informative about the game, knows a lot about the game, is now on the game's balance team.
Yes, so any balance issues, we can flame Jap still for.
Yeah, so we know who to flame.
I saw that he did mention on the dive that his very first update so far is he is taking a little bit of a nerf to Lissandra. And I already loved what he said there, whereas because Lissandra is broken at the moment, and the other mid laners that go against Lissandra are getting nerfed, like Aurelia and Akali, and I believe LeBlanc even got nerfed a little bit. I'm not positive on that one though, but I know for sure Aurelia and Akali are getting nerfed. Akali's getting gutted, but and Aurelia kind of got gutted, and Galio got nerfed as well. But he said that he made the E do less damage, her claw. You don't really use it too much for damage, but it's mostly to reduce her wave clear. And the Q, I believe he increased the mana cost on. So she can't be, because he doesn't think that if she buys Proto Belt, she shouldn't get unlimited mana still. She should have to actually think about having the engages more for a burst instead of constantly having mana, which I thought was a really smart idea. And he even said the best part I thought was that Lissandra's mostly broken because of Aftershock. So if Aftershock gets nerfed, he will revert. He will recommend to revert the nerfs to Lissandra, which is something that never happens at Riot ever. They always nerf the champion to the ground that's abusing a rune, then nerf the rune, and then never revert the champion. So they're just gutted. So I like this. I like to see him say that. That's what their plan is, at least. So maybe he's teaching them all a valuable lesson over there. But that should be all for this podcast. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/KingLinkfan. We start every podcast at 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. Sunday is LPL, Monday is LCK, Tuesday is Monday is not LCK, Monday's LCS, Tuesday's LCK, Wednesday's LMS, and today, obviously, Thursday's LEC. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/KingLinkfan, and also on Twitter at twitter.com/support esports. Follow us on any of those regions or any of those locations. We will probably we're thinking about a rebranding thing soon. I gotta talk to my friend that's helping me design some stuff, and I hope to do that soon before the end of the season. It is quite a bit, so might be there. I'm trying to push it there, but we'll find out. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on. No, we won't be here Sunday. We'll see you guys Monday for LCS, because Sunday's LPL, and we won't talk about that this week.
Yep.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.